When did you see Jayden Daniels and go, okay, that's it for me? When did that happen for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, probably it started even before that, like finding out about Adam. He might have been the first player that we watched together. And so knowing that he had already done all of this work on him, watch this game, watch this moment, and to see his ability to identify, the talent. So after that, we're watching some of the LSU. He goes, wait a second. And he put on like a game from ASU from maybe his like freshman year, Rich, where he was battling against Oregon or something. And it just kind of showed the competitor. And so he had done so much work on this player that he kind of said, look back to here, look back to here. During the interviews processes, it's harder to get to know the guy. So, meet him at the combine, first connection, and then down to LSU, we made some. But up here, when you have the guys come on the 30 visit, you knew the ball player was the right one. That was easy to see, Rich. A lot of us could see that. What you didn't know was what's the man like. And I was so impressed by him, the competitor, what he stood for. He's got the humility of a young rookie who's on the way up with his work ethic and hunger, but he's also got the confidence and swagger of an older player, guy who's been seasoned some. So all that experience you saw from ASU and LSU and into here and the work ethic, it really comes in. But I thought, what a good balance that he has of confidence and humility. And Marcus Mariota is here, and he has a lot of that too. And so to see these guys work together, that's been really cool, Rich. So it was early to see the talent, but getting to know the guy under the helmet, that's what sealed it for me.
And how has he taken reins leadership-wise? Because that's got to happen here.
Yep. And I think that's what I saw, like that work ethic, like early on, he just didn't miss it. And so the other players were just noticing that this guy was on it, whether it was correcting a formation or making the correct read. And there's a difference between throwing it well and playing the position well. And I think everybody recognizes he can play the position well. That's checking a protection, the ball going to the right spot based on a coverage. And so that's really what it is. We've seen plenty of pro days look good when a guy's throwing onto air, but playing the position, the checks, in and out of pocket, good decisions, that's what it comes down to me. And so the other players saw that. I thought Zach Ertz said it well. He said, people were saying this guy's going to be good. Zach said he's already good. And I thought that was really well said by Zach Ertz.
So then when it comes to drafting somebody second overall, certainly for a franchise that is searching for a long-term answer at that position, and you having been in your previous stop of Atlanta, knowing the value of somebody at that position, and you can win an MVP with them and go on to a Super Bowl with them. The question stands to reason, why are you having a competition at all? And obviously that's an outside-in question. I'd love for the top of the flow chart inside out to answer that, if you don't mind.
No, it's a fair question, and it's a good question because it's also my first experience going through it with a first-year quarterback. During my time in Seattle, Russ was young, but he was going into his second year. My time in Atlanta was Matt, and then Dak in Dallas. So with Jayden, we just didn't want to miss one step. That's all it was, Rich, to make sure we're going through the process. He's getting plenty of reps, but we wanted to go through the practices against another team. And so going through all those steps, just making sure we're not missing one of it along the way. So that's really what it's about, Rich. Just making sure we hit every marker for him. And he's the type of competitor that wants to do that. He gets a lot of the reps with the first group, but we just weren't going to mess with that process. We really believed in it. We believe in him, and we wanted to make sure he was just hitting all the markers, Rich. So that nothing more than that.
And I heard you say he earned the right to take on the Jets as the starter this week.
Okay. And based on the performance, through the spring and into training camp. And so when people do that, you want to give them those opportunities. And the practice, Rich, against the Jets, those count too, where you get some chance to go compete. He'll actually, likely get more reps at practice, than he will in the game. And so that's why having those practices before you play a game, they can add a lot of value. It's different looks. The Jets are going to play excellent defense. I certainly know Jeff Ulbrich and a lot of their players well. So what a great, opportunity for us to, take it on the road for a couple of days up to Jersey and play against those guys, both at the practice and at the game.
And again, I know this might be a question Dan Quinn better posed to the general manager, Adam Peters, as opposed to you, but the concept of adding a weapon, say, for Jayden Daniels that he might be familiar with, they might have gone to college together, Any truth to that idea that the Commanders are in that front? Dan Quinn?
Like you said, that would be a better question for
I
Mr.
shouldn't have
Duke.
answered.
Oh, you knew it, but you had
no.
to take your shot. You took the bat off your shoulder. That's true Staten Island way, like you go take your shot. And for guys like you and me, Staten Island, Wu-Tang Clan, everybody else.
That's I'll give you one from your past then. I guess I'm just competing. I'm trying to always compete with people here, Dan,
So that's how it feels. It doesn't feel very good when you do that. My wife calls it "Don't Dan Quinn me," with the the question back to it. So I was like, okay, my fault.
So wait a minute. If your wife says to you something along the lines, "Are you going to pick this thing up when you come on the way home from work?" You could say to her, "I don't have a crystal ball." You could say that sort of stuff. You can use the coaching cliches with your wife.
It does not work after 29 years. Yeah, don't Dan Quinn me. Just let me have the facts. Yeah.
Very nice. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.